Okay, we are here to do the update. Joy of analytics during a Mercury energy going on. Get rid of that. I'll wait for you guys to connect, and we're going to tune into the masculine energy. Now, for those of you who joined the previous video, I do highly suggest you look at the most recent video I did before this one, and I will link it into this video after, because there was some really important tools and tips connected to the Taurus full moon, really moving forward into, you know, how you can look at your situation, potentially what you guys might be going through, and some tips as to what I went through before my union. And I am seeing synchronistic patterns. And when I was tuning into the video, the way I've named it is connected to their ascension symptoms, really, you know, because everyone's really wanting to know, like, where the divine masculine is and what their process is through their ascension symptoms, and through really the energy of what they're physically going through in a liberation fashion, you know. And we do go through those transformative states where we're physically looking at things, and it's like, how does one liberate themselves out of a situation? You really do need to look at how you directly went through that process. So although you might be really frustrated, you know, obviously tuning into energies, looking at scenarios, looking at the astrology. I had a girlfriend the other day, big shout out to her, Lauren, love you. And she said to me, are you gearing more towards astrology now? And I said, no, I use it as a tool to, you know, it's just another way you can actually look at a situation. So I have the aspect of my psychic gift, which I'll share with you during this video. I also have the aspect where I research astrology to look at the trends, the transits. I look at the patterns of my twin flame path and how I went through it, and I create tools through that process. And definitely I look at the mirroring effect of what's going on. So there's various ways I use, which I will be coming to you guys soon when it does come to cup readings again, because I've done cup readings on YouTube and I will be reintegrating them again. I'm definitely looking at technology so I can make this process coming to you guys a lot simpler, a lot more organized. So there's a lot of organizing going on in the background, which will be for the growth of 2020 of the channel and for you guys to get more information from me. So it's not so much I don't have it in hand to give. It's been, especially with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, all of us collectively are going through transformative states. So we're moving with the times. Now, one of the things I can see, and I'm going to use chakra cards for this, because I am seeing like a blockage is positive, because a blockage means they're being bombarded by that energy. Now, I'm going to write down a series of questions, so bear with me, because the things I'm tuning into, I really want, like, I know them in my subconscious mind. I also want to remember to actually tune into that direct energy. So the Scorpionic energy with Mars, I'm going to tune into that and see how that's affecting them. And obviously, that will be directly connected to your solar plexus. So at the moment for the masculines, in their life, solar plex energy will be coming up. When we're looking at the Taurus energy, it is a Venus house. And I'm hoping this isn't lagging. I'm going to try and move it around a little bit. I'm hoping it won't lag. So the Taurus energy is a Venus house, but it's also your spiritual path. So this is a highlighted energy of what's coming up for them. And I'm going to pull some chakra cards for them in those areas. How are we all in the house anyway? So with their energy at the moment and their ascension symptoms, pay attention to the Schumann resonance, because that's going to give you an idea of how you can actually navigate through the matrix of what trends are going for them. Looking at the moon phase is going to help show you the subject matters, and it will be the polar opposite energy of what you're physically going through. So pain body experiences, when they're coming up for you, you may be feeling, are they moving? Are they going to own their power? You know, what's going on in this? And owning your power is a very unique thing. Again, depending on your core wounds of what's coming up, and this was mentioned, as I mentioned in the previous video, the subject I was speaking of with my daughter was connected to the way in which we deal with our pain body experiences. Now, with the pain body experience, each person will get that trigger point, and at some point you will disable that trigger point. You will manage the pain body experience and create tools to deal with that adverse energy. This is really something that I feel they're coming to a head with. So potentially with the Pluto energy, a lot of us are experiencing like tower moments, and those tower moments are actually giving us solutions because they're showing us what's not working. A person energetically can only live in that 3D reality for so long, especially with the Schumann resonance, because you're having your download psychically, especially with the subject matters coming up in a trigger point. If it's not in their higher good, it's going to push them out of it. And I do feel at the moment they're feeling very, I'm almost feeling like that gut instinct, you know, they're in the mindset of their awakening and the paradigm, as I was mentioning before in the previous video. So the paradigm, we break paradigms down in spiritual connections, especially if you're going through an awakening. So for them personally, it's a very confusing time. I do feel they're torn, and I do feel they're sitting on a fence with something, but it's not due to the fact that they don't know what they want. They actually do know what they want, but they also know, they also feel, and I'm feeling the energy here now, it's higher heart, so it's wounds coming up for them. This is going to be a unique reading because now I'm experiencing the vibration. Okay, so it's like they're getting this energy that they know deep down, because I'm having an amp up of the energy coming with their power. They know what they want, right? And then it comes up here because of the external world and the things that are going on and the paradigms that they've been conditioned to believe in. It's like, but I have to do X, Y, and Z. And then they come back down to their gut instincts. And they're like, it's not working. It feels sickening. It feels uncomfortable, anxious energy. And then they're coming back here to their heart chakra, which is the Taurus energy. But it's more the higher heart in Chiron, which is to do with Aries energy. So this push-pull dynamic they've got going on in them is a very uncomfortable vibration. I mean, even tuning into them, I'm feeling extremely uncomfortable. It feels very frightening. Because they know, but they're also scared of their own reaction. Okay, so it's a bit like when you know you're going to say something, and you know, and you're saying to yourself, this person's not going to like what I'm going to say. I'm not talking about you, Divine Feminine. It's just an example. And it's like you get Tourette's and it just comes right out. So that's the vibration they're in. They're sort of to a point where it's coming to a head. They do know what they want, but they're battling. They're not allowing themselves at this point. And this Mars energy, they're feeling like a yo-yo. So it's coming up, and then it's coming to their higher heart chakra. And it's like, you're going to have to own your power, but then the empath aspect is coming through, where the wounds from previous scenarios of the consequence for the action is coming through for them. It is liberating them, but they may be getting very tired. They also might be trying to really put rose-colored glasses on with scenarios and suppress that. And if you guys on the other side of the fence suddenly come up with your, headaches, and you're having conditions coming up when you're actually tuning into your masculine, now I'm feeling the energy here, and it feels like suffocation. They feel like they're overwhelmed by what to say, how to say it. But it's very, very anxious energy. It's anxious to the point where they know that this change is going to happen. They literally do, and they feel they're running out of time with it. They really do feel as though there's a deadline. Okay, but the deadline is the anxious energy, because they physically know they're unable to live in that vibration too long. And I think we all get that. We get to a point where living in it, and we're like, oh God, this is horrible. I'm just going to make a decision. Am I feeling any better now that I did that? No. Now, with this decision they're having to make, there's a block in their path. Okay. Block in the path. I'm going to ask what it is, and each of them will be individual, but one of it, the highest level, I wouldn't be surprised if the freaking crown chakra comes up. Let's look at the Mars energy. No, you haven't missed much. Okay. The Taurus energy. Ooh. What is this Taurus moon energy triggering for Divine Masculine? And I don't even want to call it Divine Masculine, because they're really in it at the moment, okay? And it's not that. When I'm saying not divine, they're not feeling divine. They're feeling, They're feeling really crappy. Like there's certain things they're focusing on and it's like it's within reach. And they have been very conditioned to not hope. Okay, and that's really sad. It's like they're not conditioned to the point of having faith in situations. They're not conditioned to the point of believing magic can happen. They do the hard yards with situations, and sometimes there is icky mess that's created. But it has been due to, like I said, a series of very unfortunate events. They're really tired of this drama. What is this Taurus moon bringing up for them? Okay. Now, what's blocking their path? And I feel it's the power. I wouldn't be surprised if solar plexus comes up. I'm seeing the crown energy because they know. It's like they do know what their higher path is. They do know what's taking them to the high road. And it's like they're pushing. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, they're not saying it. It's because they haven't. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to let the energy keep coming through because they've got a lot in their head. Okay. Okay, the blockages in their path is quite a few. But again, I'm feeling it's more to do with the actions that they have to take with these subject matters in their life. Now, with the Mars energy, they've got a lot of throat chakra coming up, and it's both in reverse. But it's not they don't want to communicate, and it's not to say they're not going to communicate. This subject matter could completely be not connected to you at all, which I'm intuitively feeling it's not. The first energy coming through for Mars is connected to heart chakra. So with Taurus being a Venus house, Taurus operates very differently. Taurus can be quite defensive. The Taurus energy, the Taurian energy can be very much, I'll put all in to build this castle. But when they're feeling under attack, it is very different. It's very much the walls are going up, I'm locking the doors, I'm padlocking it, and it's not connected to you, divine feminine. This is in their own life. This is to do with a pain body experience, a situation, a person, place, or thing. So each of you, it's going to relate to something that has gone on in their life. And I'll continue. The higher heart chakra, because you've got heart chakra, but you've got two. You've got the lower and the higher. The higher heart chakra is about past tense wounds. Now, Chiron being in Aries, it's like battling. So as I was mentioning, the Taurus energy coming up in the full moon has been unique. Now, the tower moments, potentially, I'm feeling some of you might be experiencing it in your own lives, females, okay? Others of you, it's very much connected to divine masculine's tower moments going on. Now, it can be mucked up schedules. It can be family-related dynamics. Because remember, we've got the nodes in Capricorn, which is past tense karma, and we're playing that scenario out, which we have been since last year. And that's moving forward and cycling out by next month. So it's already playing out with you know, you've got Saturn and Pluto amping that situation up. The Taurian energy coming up. How much do we invest in this? Weighing up the pros and cons. And I've been seeing the scales in my head, and I've even to the point where when I get signs, and Giggles had this as well, where you're seeing a sign, you're seeing an animal totem, and this morning again, and you get to a point in your journey when you're saying 111, you don't need that anymore. And all physically, you know what you need. You're on an awakened path. So to me, because I was tuning into masculine, and this connection's going to do this crap again. I'm hoping it's going to be okay. They're awakening, okay? So that was the first message I got. It's like, bang, they're having a wake-up call. They're having a moment. Now, with Mars energy, they've got heart chakra, okay? Emotional balance. It's showing them everything and anything that is creating disharmony. Now, this could be affecting their work, but I don't think work's the karma for them. There's things around that are affecting the flow forward. It's past tense energy. So karmic frequency, even though the nodes are in Capricorn, Capricorn is needing, look, it's very, how would I put it? It's structured. It's black and white. Let's get this done. So with that, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get things done, but the hindrance is past tense karma is affecting the path forward. So a series of unfortunate events this year for masculines have been occurring to show them that situation, to show them the error of the investment, the error of the movement, the imbalance of the family related dynamics or the tribe. So it could have been with the work related tribe, because that when we look at the nodes in Cancer, it's our intuitive side. The moon in Cancer is also connected to feminine energies, and it doesn't have to be divine feminine. It can be a mother figure. It can be their wound of mother. So with that, they could be in a workplace and there's a dynamic going on where in the past they had a pain body experience. They weren't treated respectfully. They're in a new dynamic and scenarios are playing out to purge that, because we're really letting things go this year to such a large scale. And if we can move through it, even though it has been held for 3 years, and that's for males and females, we are taking all our tools with us, and there's no going back. Once you've reached an awakened state, there's no going back. You've got to persevere forward. If you tap out, you will fail yourself, okay? Because what you get after it is going to be so much better. Try not to be too rigid in your thinking, and that's for males and females right now, where it comes to 2-3D, okay? So when I'm saying don't get too 3D, you could be looking at the past and going, oh, I lost this money and I lost this job. I get it, okay? Pain body experience. And then you're scared about the future, so it stops you and it puts you into hermit mode. Or you're walking towards a door and it's closing. And this is for you guys too, divine masculines. You're walking towards a door, bang, the door's closed. It's not working. It is a very frustrating energy where we feel we're doing donuts. Now, masculines are really going through donuts at the moment. They could actually be eating donuts, because what do we do when we're depressed? Some, to a degree, we will eat. Some, to a degree, they're holding the energy in their midsection. So you might find even that when you're having a pain body experience, you will gain weight. Now, we've got the Jupiter energy coming through, so we will be more prone to eat. That doesn't mean we have to, but in it, it's the planet of expansion. So with masculines at the moment, because they're going through this awakened stage, they're looking at the stability, harmony, peace, all right? And if they ain't having it, but that's their goal, because they're trying to push through. It's like being birthed, a rebirth, which is the awakening, right? Hello, Europe. They're coming through this situation, and it's really frustrating. And again, I noticed that this card breaks down to a 9. To the point where they want to go into hermit mode. And I think this hermit mode energy with the Mars energy, it's like there could be a lot of projection towards them, a lot of arguments, a lot of conflict. And then we're going, I just want peace and quiet. I'm trying to do the things that make me happy. And it feels as though for them, they're noticing a synchronistic pattern, that energies around them, which feminine's experiencing this as well, that when they're flowing towards their happiness, the ego of other individuals is trying to prevent that, okay? So that energy is really stifling them, because they're thinking to themselves, I'm choosing harmony, I'm choosing a brighter path, but while they're doing it, they're getting pulled back to an old energy because it's karmic related. So it can be affecting their work, it can be affecting their tribe, their family members, their kin, their children, mother, brother, sister, or bringing up those situations from childhood. The hermit energy, it's like after this transitional state, I don't know if you notice, they're realizing, man, these people, places, and things are stopping me from having emotional abundance. It could be financial, it could be spiritual. But it's every facet of life, and they're fighting for it. They're really fighting to have this, and it's making them very angry. But I'm telling you, it's going to come. I'm telling you. The key to it is, and this is what the trigger point is, this is what their intent is. Let's see what's being done to them. I'm wondering whether to use the chakra cards or to use a normal card. Okay, what is being done to them? What is this area? And it's going to be different for each one, okay? I'll be real. But there is a hindrance with it. So what they're fighting for is that, but what they're finding is they're getting that, there's a lot of ego, there's a lot of projection, and they're getting stuck. Part of the awakening is because they're meditating on these things of what they wanted versus what they're getting, versus, you know, the energy they're putting into things and they're not quite getting the, you know, the right outcome. They're wondering what the devil is going on. 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. This card breaks down to 11. So they're in a mental process. They're going into the mind's eye, which is an egoistic experience, but they might not want to see this, but they're experiencing it. And a lot of people in their ego are projecting towards them. They're learning a very karmic lesson here right now. Situations that are coming towards them as part of their awakening. Situations that are occurring are to push them into a corner. While they're being pushed into a corner, it is helping them own their power. And I'm telling you, it's very angry energy. Now, it doesn't mean to say if you are in communication that you're physically seeing this. This is something brewing under the surface like a coffee percolator, and it's making them very frightened, but very angry at the same time. It's building the volcano up in them to the point where they're going to own their power. This can be a past tense scenario of a family, right? Because this is base chakra. This can be a home. It could be a mother, father's home, and, you know, somebody's passed away. It's old energy that is causing conflict in their foundation. So all of a sudden they may be moving home. And it doesn't have to be every twin flame, but the red is to do with the energy of their foundation. Now, again, I need to do more videos when it comes to masculine and feminine energies with the chakras, because it is the yin and yang. When you do look at the chakras and you look at the planets connecting to them, some will connect Saturn as the base chakra, some will connect Saturn as the crown chakra, and it is very much the yin and yang. So in a way, there is the power that they're needing to have. There is this accountable energy coming through with Saturn and Pluto, and it's forcing them, in a sense, with this Mars Scorpio energy coming through, to actually look at their solar plexus and the power they have to transform that. Now, with the Taurus energy, the crowning energy is a 12. Now, it's dreams. Again, it's the third eye. They know what their dream is. They're tuning into how to achieve that. But again, some scenarios are coming at them. And I am seeing the moons on the card as leading into the eclipse, as the wheels are turning. And this, to me, like I say, you know, I always get a different image each time I pull the same card. And the one thing I'm being drawn to is like the wheel of fortune, which is past tense karma. We're all aware that we're moving into a frequency of tying out a cycle. Where is the energy? They're aware in their third eye, right? They're tuning in. Now, third eye is good when you are trying to manifest, providing you are grounded. Also, third eye is also seeing something and thinking something. So they're doing a lot of thinking during this Taurus full moon. And it is about letting go of things. It's also about seeing things that aren't working. But what I'm drawn to is the previous eclipse of this cycle. Moving into the eclipse next month is directly linked. So this is the whole year. This is where it's come to a head with this Taurus moon. It's literally come to a head where it's like, this is going to be closing out. They know this is coming. And it's due to the Sagittarius frequency coming through with the next new moon. In order for that growth to happen, new is an end of one cycle, a beginning of another, and moving towards it. And we physically will experience between this moon and the next moon an ending of a situation that it physically can't go forward with us. And that's on both sides of the fence. It can be a belief. It can be an obstacle in the way. It'll either be taken from us, or sacral chakra, solar plexus, our power will have to be used to address that issue. Let's see what these dreams are. So there's been things standing in their way. And I'm being drawn to the energy on the card. Now, we've got a Venus symbol. We've got Chiron on here. We've got the sun, which again is masculine. And the moon, which is feminine. So there is a masculine and feminine on the card. There is the Venus house and there's the wound connected. And there's a lot of energies where masculine is looking back. It's like he's having an out-of-body experience, which again, I mentioned the video was like their awakening. It's it's past life related, but they're always having to rise up these situations, and it's like they're regressing back and they're going, why do I keep having to do this? I don't want to do this anymore. I want something new. So the peak of this in their third eye is during the moon phase that we have just moved through, which is the Taurus energy. Because this is the area where I'm tuning directly into Taurus. It's peaked their third eye, where they're seeing ego. They were operating from ego. It has caused a chain of events. It can be an external person or them. It's come to the forefront of their mind. It's okay, Google. Now, with the Taurus moon energy coming through for them, they do know this cycle has to end. They also know they can't take it with them. They also know that it's blocking their hopes and dreams. That if they wish to live this dream, some of it, yes, is related to the past. They're not, whatever's not in alignment for them, and this is what the block is, right? It's in reverse. They already know they're not passionate about. Like they're not liking the dynamics playing out at the moment. They're not seeing their dreams come to fruition. They had an idea in mind, and they were hoping to make situations balanced. And I'm going to pull 3 cards because I feel this is connecting to, and this can be 3 areas in their life that they were trying to balance out. But they're finding it's not fitting. It's like, and this is part of your awakening. It's like trying to do things the same way, but really then finding no matter what you do, it's just not fitting. It's very frustrating for them. And they're really looking at it going, it's not working. I thought it would, and I tried to come to it from a different way. But they're sort of getting the same outcome. And now their solar plexus and sacral chakra is coming up again. So that's frustrating them. They're like, I'm going to have to do something about this because it's not working. This could come out in a very toxic fashion. Now, they have 2 ways this can go. This can be where Saturn is behind them and they're giving them the downloads and they're telling them, look, this, because they do know. So they've already had the download and they're thinking on it. They're like, They're intuitively knowing that these things, they're seeing it, they're tuning into it, they're meditating on it. They know they're not happy with that scenario or scenarios. They're not happy with it. And they're like, what do I do with this? You know, I've come to the table and I'm trying to do this differently. I'm trying to alleviate the situation to free myself to get the things that I'm needing. And they're like, why do I keep getting the same scenario? What is the lesson in this? So I do feel a lot of meditation going on during this Taurus moon. Whatever this is, and when I read cards, and especially with the chakras, when you're looking at finances, right, when you're looking at pentacles, it's like the investment of a situation. They're looking at it, and it's interesting because the heart chakra is in reverse, connected to their dreams. So they've got the crowning energy for the Taurus moon, dreams ending a karmic cycle, and having to finish it by the time we have this eclipse coming up next month, right? Then they've got passion in reverse, seeing situations that are blocking them from their happiness, seeing situations that they're not enjoying, they're not passionate about, they're outdated ideas, beliefs, and paradigms. Now, they've got the 4 of coins, and this is about the fact that they're not willing to invest in these energies. So it's like they've already, and a psychic said this to me, and this is a great analogy, really. It's like when you've reached a point and you're going back for the same subject matter for a download, and you know what it is. And you're going back in your mind. And the psychic said to me, she said, you're already, this was years ago. She goes, you're already out the door. You just haven't put your foot there. So spiritually, with the situation in my life I was going through, I mentally, spiritually, and in the 5D already was not directly connected to the path I was on, but I was still present in that location. This is really what's going on. It's like they're looking at it. They already know they hate it. So they're no longer giving that energy. They haven't finalized that chapter yet, and that's because they're looking at it like they're victims. Now, I'm not saying that the situations they're dealing with, there could be innocence involved, there could be They had an obligation to a situation. They had a contract with a situation. They also feel that you, divine feminine, are innocent in this area, and they're having empath energy going on. So the empath energy is the guilt, right? And where does guilt come from? Let's have a look down the chart. Sacral chakra. They don't have the passion for that energy. And the sacral chakra is connected to our creativity, our passion, our intimacy. And I'm saying that discreetly because I haven't put M18 on here. Desires, guilt, and fear. So the guilt is because X, Y, and Z. And again, what have I been saying through this whole video? Part of their awakening process is realizing we can put everyone into cookie cutter lives, that we're supposed to get married, have children, live a perfect life, and it's what it is, right? Nothing's allowed to go wrong. And if it is, you just pretend. This pretending, there was obviously lives that had connected in with these scenarios. So potentially this could be an energy of family members, mother, father, sister, brother, co-workers. There's people connected to this scenario, and there's guilt connected to this scenario, but they've already tapped out. They just haven't got their foot out the door. They're like, I started this path, you know, and it's wrong. I'm not allowed to. Paradigm. So they're keeping quiet. They're saving money. They're putting a nest egg away. They're also looking at an investment, and they're like, what do I do? Can I hide this? I can't hide it any longer. It's going to come up. And this is the dream, right? This is like, not allowed to have that dream because of X, Y, and Z. But then it's coming up, and they're not passionate about where they are. So it's actually showing. So, you know, it's a bit like being with a person that you're unhappy with, for instance. Your actions speak louder than words. So this Mercury retrograde is due to the fact that no communication's here. So some of you, it does bring people back from the past, 100%. But this transit's very unique. The movement forward of tying up loose ends is absolutely essential, because we're going to be slingshotted forward into a different timeline. And in order to do that, you don't want to be taking junk with you, right? So this situation coming up in their life is to show them what they're going to be carrying with them. And they're already uninvested from it. So it's holding them down. Some of them, I do feel, in an ascension symptom might get a bit unwell. You do tend to find that when they're going through a major purge. You guys will find your energy as cross watchers to ascend, okay? And then all of a sudden they'll be getting tired, fatigued, maybe eating more to replenish because they're having their purge. They'll feel nauseous. They'll feel off. They might go off their food for a bit, be sleeping. Throat chakra. And then they'll ascend again, and it'll be like very liberating. So I'm going to say what is in the next 2 weeks for them. What's in the next 2 weeks for Divine Masculine with this epiphany that they're having? How are we all? I don't think any transformation's happy. You're happy after. It's a bit like having an ingrown toenail and you're like, dang, this hurts. But, you know, once I get it out, I'll be happy. You're sad at the fact you waited so long. I'll do that at the end. Any questions, feel free at the end, because I want to keep like the energy flowing. I don't want to block the crown chakra. Okay, so for the next 3 weeks, and again, I'll touch base with you guys. I'll give an update. Bugger. Okay, so for these guys, if they've got a karmic or anything like that, they've got people coming at them left, right, and center, and they feel a lot of karma's coming. There's a lot of toxic energies around them. There's a lot of people projecting at them, telling them what to do, or controlling their path to happiness, judging their path to happiness, preventing their path to happiness. And this is where the liberation of the sacral chakra and the solar plexus comes in. They have sacral chakra in reverse in this area because they've tapped out of that and they know where their passion is in life. Because they're purging though, it's going to go upright and reversed. So you guys potentially on the other side as spiritual connections can do channeling towards them, and you can balance out your solar plexus and sacral chakra and do a guided meditation for twin flames and tune that energy out, help them actually transmute that. It is directly connected to you, but it isn't directly connected to their karmic path, and it doesn't bode well when they're dragging that energy with them. So part of that is very it's like they're living two lives, but they're not living that other life. It just hasn't, the lock on that door hasn't been done. So it's because they don't want to hurt people. So it's like closing that chapter out is being brought through with Pluto and Capricorn. And really, if it isn't addressed soon, this Taurus energy is bringing up with the Mars being in Scorpio, it's going to get nasty, and they won't want to do it. So it can come out two ways. It can come out where they physically, and I'm seeing these cycles each year, and I'm telling you, we're moving through these cycles, all of us collectively. It's like they're repeating. But we're asked to do something different each time. And that's what I said with the twin flame journey when I came to it. It was, as feminines, you know, we try different ways. I was like, that doesn't work. It's like a chess game. And then it's like, man, I'm tapping out of chess. I'm not playing chess. I'm so tired of chess. And then it was like, and then because you're breaking down to the point where you're not playing a game. You're in the real world. You're like, no, I'm not playing games. Don't negotiate with terrorists. And this is where divine masculine's got to get to. And at the moment, he's not feeling so divine. He's feeling very frustrated. He's also, as an empath energy, just like divine feminine's, feeling as though the guilt connected to that. The guilt of being a man and what the role is to be a man or a masculine, because remember, we both energetically hold that. So feminines, you could be going through some of this as well on your masculine energy side, inside your own life, where you're having to do so much and you're feeling guilty that you let people down in your own 3D life, separate to twin flame paths. So see how it directly relates to you guys, because as you do the work on that and the healing, you will actually help balance your divine masculine out. Now, so with this in the next few weeks, and I'll recheck in on the energy before that, there's shame, guilt, you know, the empath energy going on. He knows that this is imbalanced. He knows this is completely unfair. It's connected to the Justice card. It's connected to his Venus house. It's connected to the way he's perceiving things and knowing that it's unfair on him and divine feminine, him and, you know, people around them, and it's reaching a volcanic state. Hey, again, faith. When I say faith, he had faith in situations, but he must have faith in himself. And the faith is him realizing, and I'm seeing a lot of forgiveness, a need for self-forgiveness. You know, the faith is to look to source, okay? And it's very much ascension, because look at the light going up, right? It's the light coming from the crown chakra of saying, I've done the very best I could. You know, when we have paths in the past, and this is what we've got to understand, even though some of you might tune into the karmic frequency of your counterpart and go, oh, but they're this and that. Yes, but then there's other karmic energies as well that can be blockages from the past, and that's what's blocking them, not the direct person. Do you know what I mean? So in owning their power is owning their truth, and their truth is, you know, is this my path? And if it's not, it's then, okay, what am I going to do about it? But, you know, when lives have been there before, it's almost like the damage control. So the damage is there and the cleanup of the cyclones there, and then it's how do I move forward with that, because I need to technically be here. So it's being split into areas. It's a bit like the card where in order to manifest your goal and your dream, you have to walk through that door. But, you know, once you walk through that door, there's no going back. And they're reaching a point where this fence, all right, they're on the fence through guilt and fear and shame. The other side through knowing, once they bounce onto that kind of, what do they call it? You know, when you're in a pool. Say what I mean when I'm channeling. God, it's ridiculous. And you're diving into the pool. It's slingshot you off, which again, I'm tuning into the Sagittarius Jupiter energy with the next moon phase because it's new. In order to have something new, you're going to jump in the deep end. There's no going back because you're going to be slingshotted that way, and there's no going back. And look, in reality, when we're purging, we have guilt connected to the past, which again is the sacral chakra. You no longer are invested in it. You tried, masculines. Okay, males, you tried. You did the best. This is what you've got to understand. But it's dead, it's gone. But there could be situations that you're obliged to deal with. You can't fix what the past was, but you can't live there either because you don't have any passion for it. And it's looking at it almost like it's like you physically have to have an out-of-body experience, masculines. And you've got to go, I'm going to forgive myself. I'm human. We all as humans do the best we can. Also understand that it takes two energies to make situations work. Some of which is outside of our control, some of which can be connected to partners, people, places, and things. But if it wasn't in alignment and it wasn't working, you did the best you could. There's nothing you can do. And feeling guilty about it isn't serving you. It's keeping you stagnant. You're stuck. And it's like being stuck in a graveyard and going, I've got two choices. I can sit here for the sake of other individuals, and all I'm doing is delaying my funeral. And it's an analogy, okay? Or I know that that's for them, that's not for me. And yet a paradigm is I should feel guilty. But then my road is over here. And it's like being on a train. It's like, okay, I'm just going to sit down here and wait. And you're leaving yourself out in the cold. You're also leaving your hopes and dreams out in the cold. Right? To the point where you won't be able to live in that grave forever waiting for that. Waiting for those people to forgive you. Waiting for those people to have a perfect life. Repenting the feeling of your sins, because we can't do that. Feminines have gone through that themselves. We had guilt. We had shame. We lived for other people instead of ourselves. And we then felt devastation that we let people down, and we felt frustrated that we were abandoned, and we had to actually move down our path and make sacrifices, both for our dreams, because this has really been hugely on feminine's mind. Wanting this dream so much, and I feel masculine has wanted this dream with feminine for so long, but also in their own lives with different things of authenticity. And in an awakening process, it is the most horrendous thing to go through, because you have to admit, that you're not God. Right? God, out, whatever you believe in, all control, or like the axis on the planet where you can actually control that. That's what I was talking to my daughter about. You grow up thinking, like I said before, you're going to have a white picket fence, you're going to get married, and men will be different. But you've got a paradigm in mind, and then it doesn't happen, and it triggers you. And that's the pain body experience, the ego, right? So it's like, hell, if that happens again, I'm tapping out. And then it comes up and it comes up and it comes up, because we're there to purge the ego, to understand we're on a roller coaster. Uranus and Taurus, okay? We're on a happy joy ride. But to have that spiritual ascension, to have that spiritual growth, we needn't be so rigid, because we're conditioning ourselves. And it's very scary. That adjustment is very scary. So it's like realizing, if you absolutely have no control of what anyone else does around you, what the outcomes are, if you're here on this planet or if you're not, then you live for that moment, and it's about being in the moment. So you must ask yourselves in every moment of every day, when you're coming up against a wall, okay, what do I want to do? Not what that person will say. And if you find yourselves, masculines, getting to a point where you're saying, my karmic won't agree with me, my boss will be unhappy, my mother or father will be disappointed, my partner will be disappointed, my children will be disappointed. The question you need to ask yourself, and this is what this transit's pushing for masculines at the moment, solar plexus. What are you going to do to liberate yourself? Are you going to put other people's dreams ahead of yours? Are you going to live in hell? Are you going to live with joy or anger? Where can you liberate yourself? Where can you actually create healthy boundaries? And what are you wanting to fight for? Because this subject's really coming up, okay? So the block, they're not saying it, but it's there. It's the vibration. You're going to ask what these blocks are. So they've got 4 cards. And this is synchronistic that 4 fell out because I've been mentioning in all the videos recently, 2020 is a vibrational number 4 year. So go and research that. When I've got time, I'll be doing a video based on 2020. And I do have a folder for that, and I'm gradually adding to it, okay? They've got communication in reverse. So Mercury retrograde, that's holding them back. And it's like, come on, we're going to hold you back. The holding back is actions over words. Assessment. What are you fighting for? Taurus energy. Where the inconsistencies are, where you're putting the walls up, where you're in your ego and you're feeling, hey, things can't change. This is what it is. This is all coming up for them. So Mercury's preventing their movement forward, and that's where the communication factor's off. That's where the projection's coming in. Then they've got connections in reverse. This is blocking them. Some of these connections are outdated. And even if they wanted to go back and sit in that grove, it would be for them, not for them. For others, not for them. So they might feel very disconnected from tribes, from connections, from siblings, families, mothers, fathers, whatever that be. Okay? Because this is a collective energy read. How it relates to their energy is they feel disconnected. And again, I was saying the thing that's blocking them, the Taurus energy is bringing up, are you on the right path? And if you're not, what's blocking you? And what's blocking you is you've tapped out of this energy, but you haven't actually closed that door. Base chakra, where they're wanting to be, okay? Looking at the physical foundation. Now, the physical foundation is Saturn. Okay, it's our homes. It's our connections. It's what you're building. Are you building it on a shaky tower? Was there a brick in that wall that was not put on the foundation correctly? Did you have enough mortar? Was it with the wrong person, place, or thing? The action, again, with the red, I'm saying fire, and I'm saying this being Mars frequency coming up going, no. Okay? So it's in order for them to move forward, the Pluto energy, which is Scorpion energy. So the ending of it, it's Scorpion energy, Mars. Again, throat chakra in reverse, 4 cards. Looking to the future, looking at the situation of what's not moving, okay? Look at this as the Cancer energy. Oh, this does make complete sense now. Okay, so the Chariot is a Cancer, right? And there's a moon on this card. So, and Mercury is connected to transport, movement. Okay, communication, technology, movement. All of these areas are coming up. So this is what is in reverse because it ain't working. Okay, something isn't working. What they have to do, what is coming up, it's on their side of the fence. They're having to achieve. This is part of their spiritual process. They're having to look at their power. They're having to look at the physical foundation away from an egoic mind. They're going through a series of very unfortunate events and examples and sitting in their coffin going, I'm doing this for you, not for me. You can't ever live that way. Nobody can ever do that forever, okay? Because these connections are outdated. These ways of thinking, these paradigms are outdated and they're not loving it. So it's coming to a head. The only upright card is that out of the 4 that is blocking them. So it's the situations around them that are blocking them. It's them not speaking their truth to these individuals. This could be physically having that conversation and saying, I'm not connected to you guys anymore. I have an obligation to you, but I'm not connected to you anymore. Or conversations where they're going to say, I need to leave this job. Or I want a divorce. Or I did the very best I could. Could even be saying, I'm in love with somebody else. I'm in love with divine feminine. whatever that be for your masculine, okay? I would not want to be them right now. I've been through that. Yeah, that was me last year. With my path with things spiritually. That was part of the awakening process. So they're in that state of realizing paradigms are society conditioning. It doesn't mean they're real. It's just something we've all done collectively, right? Now, with this blockage, they got the Five of Cups in reverse. This is where they're going to liberate themselves out of the situation. They're trying to make peace with the past. They're trying, whoever they're leaving out in the cold, this is a past tense scenario coming back to be looked at, and they're going to have to deal with it differently. This is a test, and I feel masculines and feminines are going through a test stage right now. Also, in order for them to have this dream, they need to be with the right team. They need to be on the right path, because it takes team to make that happen. Now, this is interesting because, spiritually, how do I put it? In a sense, when we talk about joining, effort, power, and joining, the vibrational number 4 is very connected to, obviously, 2020 is a vibrational number 4. It also is the frequency where it will be important and essential that you are working with the right people. And if you're not, you're getting left behind and you're going to suffer, right? It's going to be harder. So it's interesting that this card's come up, because this card is about, are you with the right team? Or do you want to sit in that ditch, waiting for the sake of other people? And it will be horrendous. You will not like that road. You will not get stuck there. Because the eclipse we have in January, the solar eclipses are heavier than normal eclipses. And the subject matter of Cancer is coming up with the nodes. And that stage, when you research that astrology, that will be family-related dynamics that are not built on physical, healthy foundations. That ending will come forever in such a profound way. Now, with the past tense karma of Capricorn, we're tying up those things. So many masculines that hadn't been on their A game, they're dealing with their finances, they're dealing with their paperwork, they're dealing with legal government bodies and divorces and alimony and all of that shite. Okay? And it's been coming up daily. They've been, I've got to get this sorted. I didn't do that years ago. Now it's catching up with me. Taxes. They've been chasing their tails, keeping them set. By the time they do one thing, the other thing's coming in. Come on, feminists. We know that happened to us last year. We were on the treadmill and we were whacked down, getting back up again. Whacked down, coming back up. And it was like, it's almost like you're pairing up, not going to stand up again, because you're thinking, when's the next hit? Do I just stay down here? I know, because I went through it myself. Now, 2 of Coins. Because they're in 2 realms, right? They're in 2. I'm over here fixing my karma, being nice, right? I don't feel passionate about it. It's like you're pretending to be great in a job and you're smiling. Meanwhile, you're thinking, I hate this job. I hate it. But you're going, no, I want it. No. Yeah, they're stuck, okay? They're juggling 2 situations. Now, this is a few things. They're juggling 2 karmic-related dynamics. They're juggling 2 scenarios. They're juggling 2 ways the scenario can come out, and they also know, okay? They've tried it 2 ways. Some of them could be working on 2 major projects. They're trying to create this balance. And again, given it's 2, it's the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn, right? Those areas have been arduous for them. Now, this communication in reverse, they've had a lot of crap with this past tense scenario, okay? So, you know, when you go through that egoic stage and it's like, I'm going to get in trouble if I do this because every time I've said this, spoken this, done this, this consequence had come. This is intelligence to the max, okay? I'm not feeling this to be toxic energy. Yeah, they're romanticizing the past. They're looking at things, but they're using that information to deal with this. 7 is very good. 7 is the energy of spirituality. It's also learning. It's also, you know, getting in touch with your feminine frequency, your intuition, your empath energy. Your finances is very good. It bodes very well in a financial way. With that, they're looking at it, but they're also looking at how this energy can play out. And I feel like I'm going to sneeze now. Okay, how is this energy going to play out? I know. Okay, they're being smart. That's what I was saying. They're being smart. This is where there are too many options. But they've lived most of those ways, right? So they've already seen it. And so they're looking and they're going, okay, there's many ways this can go. Now, I can fantasize about it or I can live it. I've got to be smart. They're using emotional intelligence. So this is looking at a situation, dealing with a karmic person, people, place, or thing, and going, I know your game. I'm not done. I know me. Don't tell me what I need. Don't tell me what I love. Don't tell me what I like. I know me. They're getting their crown chakra downloads. How will they deal with this? How will they respond to that? They're going to pull themselves out of the grave. I mean, I personally, in my head, just wanted to go, about time. Climb up out of there, guys. You could be doing better things than this. This is their ascension. This is their test. You know, you can't help that person achieve that reality. It is, you literally have to live it. You honestly do, guys. It's like I was saying on the previous video, you've got to walk a mile in a person's shoes to actually understand. And until you physically do, and you've been in the yuck, we'll see another person live through the yuck. You then have that understanding, and it's like, and this is the dark night of the soul, and going, I'm climbing up out of this. And I energetically did last year at the end of the year. It was like the great purge. It was like, oh, you feel so light because you've freed yourself of your belief systems that were conditioning, that were telling you you couldn't have X, Y, or Z, that it was wrong, or you're naughty, or you're a bad person. There's plenty of bad people in the world, but we have to make choices each day. I mean, you could be bad because you put chewing gum under the bus chair. Don't do it again, right? You can't turn back time. You could chase around and find that bus and then go and take it off and apologize, but what's done is done, right? So it's moving forward from that point and moving away from it, moving towards your goal. What else do we need to know? How are we all anyway? Yeah, they feel they're cheating themselves. Okay, they also feel that they're betraying you because they're living into this separation is causing conflict for them. It also could be the karmic energy is doing this. This is about adultery. This is about betrayal. But again, this can be very, very spiritual, cheating themselves out of situations that they know they're entitled to. And constantly doing that is very toxic. You know, if you're always putting other people above your own personal needs, not even your divine feminines, because that's not authentic. Authenticity is when you are physically choosing to do something that you want to do because you want to do it. And if a person has to tell you what you want, then that's that relationship you have with your intuition, which again, you've got the relationship with your own mind. You have your own mind. You do know what you want, right? If divine feminine came to you and told you what to do, how to think, you have a pain body experience that has conditioned yourself to believe that you have to operate differently because you've been bullied, right? Bullies be bullies. masculines. And they will attract that same energy. So what you've got to understand is you can't fix those people, places, or things. You have to be you. And if you're not you, you won't stay down there. I'm just saying, okay? Because you are literally, you're trying to, you're operating on a high frequency for a lower frequency individual, and you can't do that. You'll ascend. Even if you're telling yourself, I'll do this forever because it's a paradigm, at some point you're going to have a BF. You're going to flip. So, in short, masculines are going through a transformative state. They're assessing things. They're looking at things. There is guilt coming up about it. There is sadness coming up about it. There's the energy of what people have said to them, what they were supposed to be. But they know. They really know what they want. They're getting very triggered by this because it's moving to that ascended state where it's the purge will be. When you guys, those feminines, get to a point where you're really moving forward and you elevate yourself, that's when it will be going down. And it'll be something natural that comes through with you. Because what you tend to find, and what I've noticed with Ascension symptoms, is when you guys are very fatigued, their purge is coming up. Then you'll get hungry. Then you'll start replenishing your food. You'll start getting on your A game again and getting things done. And bang. And I feel this is true with Mercury direct. So between now and the beginning, because I also saw the eclipse, which is December, that is going to be coming up for them where it's going to transform it. Any questions? Now, I didn't get to read all your, because I was channeling. I'm telling you, this is part of a karmic lesson, but it's for them. It's for this person's liberation. It's what's going to help them be their own selves again. It's what's going to help them come home to themselves and live an authentic life for themselves. And that's where you want them. Is my masculine happy or at least at peace? No. But I'll read a card for you, Google. No. Okay, I'm going to pick a spiritual animal totem first, Giggle. Now, I actually do know the zodiac sign of Giggle's divine masculine. And where's Chiron, Giggle? So, no, they're having to check themselves. They're having to look at themselves and go, oh, nodes in Capricorn, past tense karma. Pain body experience, Chiron. I wouldn't want to be anywhere to be found either because they're in the grave right now. They're like they're sorting their karma. They're sorting their karma and they're trying to get that balance. They're trying to purge. Peace pipe. There you go. Told you. Now, because the inner peace is when you're on the right path. It's when you are following your dreams. It's when you're in your authentic energy. It's when you're in your own truth. And what did I say? Mercury retrograde, right? No, they're not, because they can't speak their truth because of X, Y, and Z, because they can't be themselves because they're not on the right path, because they're not with you. But it's not, you is the end goal or part of the goal, right? But unless they're in their own life, they ain't going to be like that with you. So never take communication. No communication is bad. Is positive. Because if they're coming to you like that, and they're all up in their heads and angry and aggressive, and you cannot love someone else if you don't love. And it's not that they don't love you. While they're in a loathing energy of doing things that they hate, they can't even focus on the real good things that are there. Because in reality, they physically feel they don't deserve more. And this is the greatest ascension they're physically going through right now. That it's like, and to liberate yourself out of that is the actual solution. Okay, I'm going to pull one more card for Giggle. The energy is in their throat. I would not be surprised if you do hear from them. But what they're going to tell you about, which is what I said to you privately, is what's been going wrong with them. So don't get triggered and say, well, do you know what's been happening with my life? Because you don't want to shut that down. You want that communication to flow. You want, when they're approaching you, to feel that how would I put it? Look at it this way. If you have only had toxic people in your life and the one person that they do trust and they confide in is you, even if they have shocked you around, you're trying to create a neutral space. So the wounds that we work on is to create that neutral space. It doesn't mean to say just respect yourself, but use it as a stepping stone to help that person feel comfortable to open. And look, if they're telling you things about what's happening, that's very important, because it's actually saying, it's a huge compliment. It says, I trust you enough to share what's going on in my life. And that's very private. So if they're choosing to do that and they call you, that's an honor. That's them sharing something deeply personal. Yeah, they've got some crap going on. Like there's very vengeful energy. I'm telling you, it's karma around them at the moment. They're a bit angry about some scenarios that have played out at the moment. And they're feeling angry towards these people, places and things, but it is about them actually owning their power. What's going on with your life? You haven't got a clue. Where do you want to go, girl? Yeah, I told you. Here you go, last card. Solar plexus in reverse. Okay? How can I easily make it through this karmic cycle that's playing out? Good question. Oh, okay, some keys. Understand we're not out of the woods yet, okay? But this is passing a test. What's coming up for you? Jot it down. Look at it. Use your bath salts. Use your clearing tools. When you're getting downloads from your masculine, breathe the energy out. You can use psychic protection stones. I would definitely say be walking around with no shoes on to anchor your energy in. It is earth energy. People have been using alcohol quite a bit. Look, even me. And it's interesting because when those come up, that is sacral chakra, right? Temptation, desire, Neptunian energy. We can go into lower frequency energy. And it's because the edge cannot be taken off, and it's the external. So do it in moderation, because obviously I don't promote. But I would say look at a healthy balance. So use the energy into something positive. What you can't control, don't. Understand this frequency is temporary. It feels like crap. It's temporary. It's going to shift. Like last year. Think about last year. We'd get up and we'd be running, and then there'd be another retrograde, and then another one, and then another one. And it was like, oh God, really? And it's like, we made it, guys. Come on. If we can make it through this pocket, use the tools I've given you. You can use smudge sticks, drink fluid. Understand it's temporary. This too shall pass. Get the downloads. Try not to tune into this person not being able to evolve, because if you do, you're blocking the transformation, because we intuitively are energy and we can shift conscious minds. Any invisible cars hit anyone yet? No, but I tell you, when I was at the Drags, I was laughing because I was looking at them going, why would you race during Mercury retrograde? And there would have been easy 6 car engines that blew up. And the one person that was cautious during that time, whom we do know, was lucky enough that the vehicle was unscathed because he used his conscious mind. You got to be on your A game. So I would definitely say, look at the energy of what's coming up for you. Definitely don't enable people. Be mindful that the Mars energy is there. Anything in a foundational sense that needs shifting, shift it then, coach. Okay, so if you're finding blocks in the road, definitely start moving that so that your path is clear. Anything that is coming up around this transit is to prepare us for the eclipse season, the next 2 months worth of eclipse season. So you're preparing your foundation for 2020. Then the other half of the month, if you can get a lot of tasks done in a paperwork sense and a growth sense, connected to business, connected to, investing in scenarios to get a better outcome and a balance, it's going to prepare you for 2020, and you're going to get less karma. Jen, do you have someone that works away? Jenny. I'm seeing an energy of a person. That's okay, doll. I'm seeing an energy of a person who, yes, I'm seeing an energy of a person who's working away. Is that you or the other person? This is the person working distantly. Could be in a mine or something like that. I just feel someone who's working away, someone who's not quite near you and they're working somewhere else. Does that make sense? What's that energy about? Who is this in relation to? Because there's a few things coming through. There's an energy of who this person is and what this energy is to do with. There's also a family-related dynamic. And you do have a little bit too much on your plate at the moment. Is this hitting? Do you understand what I'm talking about? My twin flame and I have been in separate rooms for a few days. Honey, I wouldn't have been. I'll keep it hush hush, but I'm on that page. But it's not. It's been hard energy for those in union because there's been trigger points coming up. There's been communication. There's been looking at your own energy. And how do you put it? Like, I feel, and that's probably, what is this energy of this person working away? Is it you're fearing they're going away? Is it your work schedules aren't working? Because there's something about not feeling there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, well, and that's because of this energy playing out here. So, and this is what I mean by it's collective energy. Even those of you in union and reunion and no contact and some separation, it links because we go through a vibrational shift. We, for example, in connection, in relationships with our twins, if you're in union, reunion, the way you deal with those trigger points and obstacles is going to be very different. They have come up for people that are in communication and connection very hard because it's the juxtaposition between, it's this push-pull energy going on at the moment with those that are in communication and connection. And it's very much like, because they're purging, right? They're outgrowing a way of being, and it's very frightening for them. And they feel that there's got to be too many things for people and they're going to make everyone happy. And it doesn't work. It will be something they spiritually get to. But your alignment, Jenny, will be you looking at it going, and it's hard because, when you've got to a certain stage, it's a test on your side of it, but it's to have that unconditional love to yourself and to look at those subject matters that have been coming up. And it's probably good, if you were to book a reading and we could talk candidly about it, I can work you through the blocks. And that's why I said in 2020, a lot of people that do come into union, you're having to outlearn everything you learn because it's not the same in twin flame union. It's totally different. You have to check yourself. You have to check your triggers. And you're outgrowing everything. They're dealing with you differently. Yeah, it's very different. It's very unique. It will pass, Style. It's just, like I said, the coaching sessions I give to those of you that are twin flames, I can give you my experience and I'll also tell you things that are going on with me. Obviously, there's certain things I won't say on here to my tribe. I'll give you techniques and ideas as to how to work through that. It's very tricky because what you want and what you see and the frustration of wanting that end goal of your happiness, I feel divine feminines are getting a bit pissed at the moment. It's like, look, how long are we going to, push that pause button? Because that's self-love, right? They've got to reach that too. And it's not one's right, one's wrong. It's just the frustrating situations with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn coming up. It's like, shite. Look, you can only really have twin flame union when you do have self, right? And that's really where I come to. And that's what I said by a lot of you that aren't in direct connection. You'll go through a big purge at the end of the year, and that you will get communication next year. But that purge of complete release and surrender, it'll be like it's died. But it's not died in the sense that the connection's not there. The wound would have made peace with it. Are they going to cut? Because it's almost like Christmas is blocking you guys. Because again, it's a paradigm. It's like, oh, here we go, another Christmas, no TF. Oh, another birthday, no TF. Oh, then I'm going to be reigning in the bloody new year, and there's not going to be TF. You, and then don't go into it like that. Stop that. Okay, get into it and go. I am going to have me. I'm going to do something that makes me feel good. Look at the Leo King. Look at him as a masculine. That is exactly what I did last year. That's what I mean by awakening energies. He asked you guys to look back at the video, and he said paradigms, which is completely true. Two conditioned. What do you want to do? That's the Taurus and Mars energy coming out right now. That's a masculine. Go look at the masculine, how he's evolving. It's why? Because, you know, society says we should spend Christmas with our family. Should we spend Christmas with our family? And it's not that they don't love their family. It's what would I like to do? And that's owning your power. It's okay, well, just because society says I have to, you know, half at mums and half at dads, or, you know, if you've got split families, or go see Nan and go see Pop, and, you know, what do you want to do? And I think all of us collectively have been saying, when can I start my life? You should have been doing your life the whole time, but this is the awakening process. It's like actually saying what you want to do without apologizing for it, because I'm sorry if that makes you upset. I'm not really sorry if that makes you upset. If it's making you upset, that is actually about you. I have my life, and I choose what I'd like to do. If I want to eat fairy floss, I'll eat fairy floss. You know what I mean? It's like unless both are well on their way to self-worth, union is blocked. Yes, but you're so close, Giggle. I mean, you have done so much work on yourself. It's just literally looking at it. You know, you've got to check each week when something comes up, especially at a major level. If something's coming up and you're looking at it, if you feel they can't do X, Y, or Z, anytime if that comes up, you need to be checking that. And because it's almost like what you're doing is actually you're doing the 7 stages of healing, but it's also a conditioned reality you're living. So your vibration is that conditioned reality. So if you're thinking, this person ain't going to call me, because they never do, you're actually co-creating that on a constant level. Till you don't care, till you know, you might have an issue picking that phone up, Divine Masculine, and going, but they have a hand, they have a mind, they have that number, I guarantee, right? They have that number. You don't need to call them to remind them that you're there, because and that's why I always say, if you're ever going to message your masculine, do it because you're wanting, and that's cool. And trust me, they will get the hint. They will get the the download psychically. But don't ever feel that they're unable to call you, because they always bloody do, right? And there could be a number of situations going on that are completely not you related, because look at what's coming through in the room. That if we're holding that vibration of going, they can't call me because they've got a karmic, they can't call me because they've got a job, they can't call me because they never call me. They can, but because we go back on our old patterns, we then go back to enabling, and then we're pissed because we're like, it was supposed to be them to call. Now, if you want to call because you want to call, that's different. That's a choice. That's your control. And if it's going to trigger you, don't you dare message. If you're stating a subject matter and it's not an open-ended question, and you're going, this and that happened in my life, da 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 da, that's a statement, right? That's not a, I need you to call me back, or have you got your shit together? If they had their shit together, they'd be with you right now. So they haven't. So you don't want to even call them to reconnect the dots of that spiral. You want to know they've got their thing sorted. Okay, last question. I'm confused and don't know what to do on my current relationship. Any advice? Okay, in a sense, with your current relationship, are they TF? Are they a TF? The one you're in right now? With your current relationship, are you a twin flame? Because this is the first thing that's coming through. And are you with a twin flame? Because that's the first thing they're showing me. Twin flame, yeah. You'll be more than okay, Femme Coach. Have you seen a set? Oh, go look at her channel. She's the next person who's coming on my channel. I don't know what he is. Okay. Have you been thinking about anyone else, Star? Has anyone else been coming up in your mind? Like a bubonic plague. Yeah, me too, Michelle. The energy that's coming through, okay, this is what's coming through. It feels as though you're looking at the foundation and something's feeling off, okay? And again, I am feeling as though, do I stay or do I go? That's sort of the energy that's coming through. And it might be you fearing that they're going to go, but I feel it's polar opposite. I feel it's you're not quite feeling settled with the status of what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's positive. It's not bad, doll. Okay, so the thing you need to tune into, what the Taurus energy is doing is, okay, if you would want to go, why? Is there something you could do or they could do to balance the situation out? Because what the Mars energy with the Scorpio is doing is actually uncovering a lot of situations that feel really out of balance. And with that out of balance energy, it's again, because we're balancing our chakras and because it's Mars energy, it's almost like we're questioning our gut instincts. We're questioning our intuition and it's uncovering things. So we could be really scared about that transition because we're evolving and changing. So it doesn't mean that the connection's not great and it doesn't mean we can't transform within those connections. It's giving us a solution. It's showing us the problem and it's asking us to meditate on it. But you have to live in your truth. So I would say 1 to 2 weeks, I feel you'll have more clarity and you're going to feel more comfortable, but you're going to have to feel comfortable about what you're doing. Yeah. So do you feel that because that's going on with your mum, it's actually making you very unable to make a major decision with it? And it's sort of like, it's too much right now. It does make it hard because with that energy, Pluto's bringing all these situations up. Yeah. I'll pull a card for you, but look, I'd say 2 weeks. I'd say 2 weeks. By the end of this, things are going to be different. I feel you're gonna know what you need to do. Only do it within your capacity, but have a look at some patterns that are coming up that you want to look at and want to deal with, and choose when you're ready to actually speak your truth about things. And I don't feel they completely know all these things. Some of it you have said. I feel potentially yes, but it feels more right now. You're going through such a transformative state that it's very much, it's about you actually having the truth. You know the truth. So it might be if you're feeling like running, you need to look at the reasons why. And it could be a lot of times a person get very sick. You could actually be the masculine energy. Okay, and we do hold both, but The honesty is communication. You need to communicate the truth about these things, be it they're your TF or not, okay? Because if they're your TF, they're just going to keep coming back anyway. How are you, SK? Very true. Look, that energy is coming up big time, but no time is wasted. You know, okay, so wasted in a sense of if you feel you're not getting what you're wanting out of the situation, then yes, you do have to own your power. But what would you prefer to put your energy into? And could you just reshift the energy? And this is what I found very positive, especially in the TF journey, especially in reunion. So I'm doing that this week. Again, I'm shifting the energy back onto me. It's like when it's become stagnant, you need to shift that energy onto you. Refocus everything onto you. It's like, okay, you want to stay back there? I'm moving. I'm moving on up. I'm focusing on my work, my health regime, my garden, my career, my YouTube family. And I'm just reshifting the energy back onto me completely. Yeah, no, but it's not ever wasted, 100%. But it's like when we say wasted energy, I feel the one thing we're really saying is you want to get to a space in your life that when you and it's trust, right? It's building your gut instincts. It's having a relationship with your intuition that you're on the right path, that you're not pissing in your own pocket, and you're going, right, I have a need that if I'm investing in a situation and I am building a mountain, I'm going to get to my mountain. Why the devil would we invest in things that we're not getting an outcome from? That's self-worth, okay? So 100% true, yes. And you will get pissed. Because if you are putting energy into an empty cup and they're not filling their cup, you're going to get pissed. You can love them to kingdom come. But unless that person is investing with you and trying and evolving, then it's an empty cup and it's theirs to fill. So the art of appreciation is you shift the energy back onto you and you say, you're not fulfilling me in X, Y, and Z. Right. And I'm going to focus my energy on here till you have the art of appreciation. Because these are my deal breakers. These are my needs. You can't. And I can address those needs. A partner is the salt and pepper. But if then you take from my needs, no. You ain't even salt and pepper then. And you can love them still, but you have to love yourself first. So just don't get yourself confused. Look, just use this week, moving into the energy of Sagittarius. Do what you need to do. Do some things that are nice for yourself. You know, go and shift the energy onto things that make you feel good. It can be a bubble bath. It can be a hike. It can be having a coffee with a girlfriend. Don't talk about it, though. You know, do something that's nice. Look after yourself, right? You'll find the energy will balance out, but also you will be more grounded to see things clearly. Yes. Because if you feel you got sexy back and you've got everything going and you're just doing things that make you feel great, it's very attractive and it attracts the same vibration. It's like a magnet. Because I've been saying lately, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I've been attracting a lot of shit lately. And I'm like, okay. Because I know I'm not that. But it's also, there has been a lot of very strict energy with feminines at the moment. And potentially masculines are experiencing this too, where it's like, no, there's the gate, stop. No, you over there. And people that have operated like that towards you, they're not really enjoying that factor now. So they're very much, hey, hang on a minute, but I've been doing this for years with you, so what's the problem? And you're like, no, the door's there. Yeah. It's like, didn't you hear what I was saying? I don't negotiate with terrorists. No deal. And that can be with your kids. It can be with, your girlfriends or your mates. It's just, Femme coach, pina colada time. See what I mean? It's definitely due to the blockages in our, our passionate path and what we're wanting to achieve. And that's where alcohol comes in and addictions and things like that. It's like, no, let's not be doing that. Let's not. And it's not that you can't. Yes, in moderation, but if you find it seeping in, especially since I was very vegetarian, I was drinking green tea, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind a glass of wine. I'm like, that's really odd for me. That's really, really odd. And it has been the last few months, energies like that coming through. Hi, Femme Coach. Yeah. Anyway, love and light, guys. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going through a detox today. Yeah, just balance your chakras. It's the solar plexus and sacral chakra because it's guilt connected to it, but it's the trust in your intuition. So those chakras you can eat, like red food groups, not red, well, red for your foundation. But the sacral chakra and solar plexus, that's going to balance things out for you. Do a chakra clearing. Yeah. But don't feel guilty and just let it come to you. It'll come naturally. Yeah, well, I was talking about that the other day, Giggle, wasn't I? It was like it's legal here in Australia now, which is great. We're quite behind. We're getting on up there. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, I'm actually in Perth, Western Australia. So no, I'm not close by to Melbourne. I can drive there, but it's going to take a few days. Yes. Well, it has worked wonders for Giggle. Yeah, well, but that's the Neptunian energy because we're so frustrated by our dreams and how are we going to get these dreams and what's going on? Is this just a delusion? And it's like this frequency, with the sacral chakra of those dreams and wanting to make those a reality. It's like, where are these desires? We're trying and it's not. So it's arduous energy. So what happens? We get triggered and those old frequencies come back as coping mechanisms. Let's get some stones I would recommend for actual balancing chakras. So do your research, get some gems to balance that area, which I've got mine all on my windowsill after charging them and detoxifying them, and I'm going to be using them. Love and light. If you do want to book a reading, you can go to the link that is directly below. I will be back later to do the feminine energy. I'm sorry, I had tower moments this week, and it's like I had to reschedule a lady that I've got to email now, because I won't give that energy to you, but I will give you the information after the fact. So I'm here now. So love and light, and apologies for that, but it is the way the cookie crumbles. We're going through an ascension. And I will talk to you guys soon. Next read will be feminines. That's okay. Take care, guys.